Our words of invitation today are from Kelly Buckley. In a fast-paced world filled with deadlines, commitments, and personal ambitions, it's easy to get caught up in our own lives. However, amidst the daily hustle and bustle, it's crucial to remember the profound impact that gratitude and giving back can have on our well-being and the world around us. Volunteerism and charity provide opportunities for individuals to make a positive difference, fostering a sense of fulfillment, purpose, and connection with others. Our hymn of the month for November is For the Beauty of the Earth. We close out our monthly hymn for November with the words of Annabelle Woodard. We give thanks for the sun, even when behind clouds it hides. We give thanks for the wind, though it bend the birches low. We give thanks for the rain, gentle or torrential. We give thanks for the earth. For its beauty and glory and power, we give thanks. Give us grace to be good stewards of this, our inheritance. Let us sing For the Beauty of the Earth. It's number 21 in the gray hymnals, and the words will be on the screens. You're welcome to stand or remain seated as we lift our voices together. Hello, I'm Millie. My pronouns are she and her. I'm a member of the Pastoral Care Circle. Today I'm wearing black and white. As a community, we share joys and concerns to keep connected. Slips of paper are available at the greeters table for those in the sanctuary to use for joys and concerns. During the week, you may send your joys and concerns by email to pastoralcare@springfielduu.org or by leaving a voicemail on the church phone 417-883-3922. If you're on Zoom, please use the chat box now for sharing your joys and concerns. All of these joys and concerns will be included in the members' email on Tuesday. We honor each joy or concern with a lighted candle, a symbol of the love we as a community offer for each of these joys and concerns. This morning, Chuck will be lighting the candles. And now, as we begin this time of sharing,
know that though we are in multiple physical spaces, we are together in beloved community. To begin, we hold in love all of us, those present and those absent. We light a candle for our church community. Checking the chat box. This is from Michael Rodriguez. It's a concern. I'm extremely nervous about two things. I'm going to be applying for a new apartment Monday. I have a court case with Wooten on Wednesday, 9 a.m. without a lawyer. So we light a candle of concern for Michael. We have a joy from Eva. Today is Steve Breedlove's birthday.
Yeah.
Let's sing happy birthday.
Eva, can you lead us in?
Eva? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Steve. Happy birthday to you. We have a joy from the music people. Thanks to the board for the new piano cover. Where is it? Yeah. And we light a candle for that. From Neil, a joy to see the Missouri State Bears football team represent MSU so well this year. Congratulations and thanks for a fun season. We light a candle. Go team. And we have a concern from me. Judy Oliver called me this morning, and she said she fell and broke her left shoulder. To compound this problem, she's left-handed, so she can't write. So we light a candle of concern for for Judy. We honor the complex and heartbreaking struggles of our world. We light a candle for all who are impacted. In closing, for those joys and concerns that remain unspoken in our hearts, we light a candle. May each of these joys and concerns be in our hearts and minds. May our community of love ease sorrow and boost celebration. Thanks, Chuck. Let us now join together in 1 minute of shared silence, followed by Spirit of Life.
Good morning. I am Jerome P. Jamrock, a harmless, hairless, he/him septuagenarian. Sorry, we touched on alliteration this morning in Seekers, and it got me going. My function in the Social Action Circle is dealing with issues of racial and immigrant justice. And I'm down here. The week of November 30th includes December 1st to the 6th, and on December 2nd, 1954, the Unitarian Fellowship of Springfield, Missouri became a chartered fellowship within the AUA, the American Unitarian Association. So, 71 years ago this week, First UU became an officially recognized member of the AUA. This is a memory worth celebrating. Why not? Offering our gifts to support the work of building inclusive and just communities is one of the many ways that we live into justice and equity together. Some of us have too much to give and some have little. And together it is enough. We are enough to work together for a world where every human can live into their best and most authentic self. Sometimes one's budget simply won't stretch for unexpected expenses. We are glad that our Congressional Relief Fund is able to provide Relief Fund is able to provide some assistance, always in a confidential manner. Because of your donations, the CRF can provide some short-term financial assistance to members and friends of First UU. Donations are welcome at any time, but today is the fifth Sunday when we officially invite donations to the CRF. Please do make a contribution today using either a designated envelope, the memo line on a check, or virtually via our website, springfielduu.org. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The offertory is Triumph of Love, performed by the choir. The composer is Jack Widner. Widener? You even went over that the other day. See, I am a septuagenarian. Jack Widener, a friend of Steve Samuelson. My apologies to all.
Good morning. My name is Bob Eccles, and I use he, him pronouns. It's my honor this morning to introduce to you our guest speaker. Greg Burris was my boss. For the latter part of the 25 years he served Missouri State University. When I reflect on those years with Greg, I think with a smile, because we worked hard, but Greg always had a way of making hard work fun. And you'll understand what I'm talking about in a few minutes. After his time at SU, Greg served as Springfield City Manager from 2008. If you recall, that was the start of the Great Recession and a great time for Greg to jump into that job. And he was city manager until 2018. After an 8-day retirement, Greg joined United Way of the Ozarks and served as the organization's president and CEO. Greg also served as founder of the Give 5 program, a first-of-a-kind program that matches retired and retiring baby boomers with key volunteer opportunities in their community, which provides fuel for today's nonprofits. Greg retired as president and CEO in June of 24 and currently serves as the part-time executive director of the Give 5 program for the United Way Ozarks region. Currently, Greg is working with the Greater Ozarks, coordinating school districts to insert the Give 5 program into the curriculum of 5 high schools, which includes student teams working to address real-world challenges at each nonprofit visited. Greg married up, was born on Halloween. He's a recovering computer programmer, formerly worked as a custodian, a lumber stacker, and has a passion for great customer service. Here are a couple of Greg's oh my credentials. When working at Missouri State University, he may be the only computer programmer put in charge of the design and construction of an 11,000-seat basketball arena. Once he made a half-court shot 24 seconds before halftime at a state high school basketball championship game. I think he was influenced by his teammates on the bench. He pole vaulted for a high school that had neither a pole nor a pit. And he enjoys French silk chocolate pie, typically alone in a dark corner. I give you Greg Burris.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you for welcoming me. I bring you greetings from Brentwood Christian Church, where I'm a trustee there. And I want to just say the choir did a marvelous job. So let's thank the choir one more time. I thought that was great. Bob also shared with me the organizations and the initiatives in the community that this congregation supports. And so let me just start by thanking you for what you're already doing for the community, which is just amazing work. So thank you for that. I'm going to go fairly quickly through these slides. I have 182 slides to go through in 20 minutes. We'll see how this goes. First, why would I create a program like the Give 5 program? Let me start by asking, show of hands, how many have ever heard of the Give 5 program? Okay, good. How many could write a 2-page thesis on the Give 5 program? Chuck, you should be able to raise your hand. Chuck is a graduate of the Give 5 program. So if I say anything, Chuck, throughout this that you want to issue a rebuttal, you're welcome to do that. So. All right, so why would I create it? Well, because as these statistics show, we're not getting any younger. And there's a whole bunch of us that are baby boomers, including myself, that, pretty soon, a fifth of the people in the United States are going to be age 60 or better. We don't say 60 or older. We say 60 or better. And So that's an entire wave of us. This is a U.S. Census chart. You may have seen this chart before. It shows that, we're living longer, and there's more of us that are age 60 or better in the United States. I do call the program a win-win-win, and this slide shows it's a win-win-win-win. It's really good for the participants. Now, I don't want to give the impression that everybody who goes through the Give 5 program is isolating or lonely. Most of the people who go through the program are the busiest people I've ever met in my life, but there's always a handful of people in every class who haven't left their house in about a year. And so you get this entire spectrum of people in a class. Some are isolating and lonely, and some are just unbelievably busy. And it is that mix of people in a class that makes it so special. It's also jet fuel for the nonprofits. And we'll talk a little bit about why that is so important right now for nonprofits in our community, and what nonprofits are going through, and why they need your help. It's also good for employers who care about development engine. And I've done something. So that concludes my presentation. Yeah, 182 slides seems go quick, yeah. Oh, there we go. All right, so we refer to the Give 5 program as romance. And the reason we think of it as romance is because on one side, it's civic engagement. So think ecivichaRmony.com. We haven't been sued by eHarmony yet, but we probably will be. It's a civic matchmaking program that's different than a romance, but it is romance because on one side you've got nonprofits that are in need of help. Most of the nonprofits in our community are in desperate need of volunteers. They rely on volunteerism to do their work. Yes, they have paid staff, but you'd be amazed at how much they rely on volunteers. And on the other side of the equation of this romance is people like me, who are age 60 or better, who aren't really ready to sit on our front porch and yell at kids to get off our lawn. We have something to give, and we are seeking that meaning and purpose in our life that maybe we got from something else. Everyone needs to feel needed, right? I mean, everyone needs to feel needed, and that's what this program is about. So we created the program based on 5 macro trends. I'm kind of a macro trend geek. I like these things that change 1 or 2% over years, and then after 20 years we look at it and go, wow, how'd that happen all of a sudden? It didn't happen all of a sudden. It happened slowly over time. And these are the 5 macro trends that we are trying to address at one time with the Give 5 program. First trend is you've probably seen this wave of baby boomers. There's 10,000 of us in the United States. This is the United States alone. 10,000 of us turning 65 every day for 19 years. Just think about that. That is an amazing array of talent and skills that could be sitting on the couch watching Jeopardy or doing something in the community or both. That's about almost 70 million of us over that 19-year span. And I would argue that the communities that get this right have a massive competitive advantage over other communities in terms of engaging people who want to be engaged. A lot of us get our meaning and purpose from our jobs. You could argue, yes, faith is important. Yes, family is important. But a lot of us, when I was city manager, if you just stopped me on the sidewalk and say, you look familiar, who are you? I wouldn't have said, well, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a guitar player. What would I have said? I would have said, I'm city manager. I would have told you what I do. And so the day I retire, how do I answer that question? I used to be somebody. So, then they take away your key or your name badge and they turn off your email. We always joke, wouldn't it be great if they turned off your email? Well, they do. And then you're not in the loop and you don't really, understand what's going on. And they say, well, we'll invite you back for Thanksgiving. We'll invite you back for Christmas. They don't do that. They don't invite you. I haven't been invited back to anything. And so that chapter of your life is kind of over and closed, and it's kind of a weird feeling. If you've been through it, you know what I'm talking about. Second macro trend is the baby boomer health risk. And according to the U.S. Surgeon General, one of these 5 is the largest risk for our population in terms of age. It's isolation. It's not heart disease, it's not cancer, it's isolation. And so BYU did a study, and we know the lady who did this study. And she said, okay, so what does that equate to? What that isolation and loneliness, what's the equivalent of? It's the equivalent of smoking 15 cigarettes a day. And that was stunning to us. That is a major health impact. If you're a geek about this sort of thing, U.S. Surgeon General put out a report a couple years ago about calling this an epidemic of loneliness and isolation. Even if you read the first 20 pages of this document, you will be blown away. I'm embarrassed. As city manager, I didn't know what was going on in my own community because isolation and loneliness, by its very definition, is hidden. And I didn't realize how many people in my own community were lonely and isolated and were kind of hungry for that connection. So the next macro trend is this weaving of community fabric. As a society, we have a growing deficiency of empathy. We also have a growing deficiency of bridging social capital. Bridging social capital is the kind of relationships you have with people outside of your personal bubble. They are different from you. They go to a different church. They live in a different part of town. They're a different socioeconomic strata. They're people who you wouldn't normally connect with. We have self-divided into our own little bubbles. Social media helps with that. And a lot of other things help with that. You think about the faith community. It was Dr. Robert Spence at Evangel who told me one day, he said, the faith community has some responsibility too because we've broken up into the haves and have-nots. There are rich churches and there are poor churches. And it used to be that people sat next to each other from different economic and social backgrounds, next to each other on the pew in the same church. And that doesn't happen as much anymore. So, if we think about, how often do we really break our social bubble? How often do we really get a chance to meet and get to know people outside of our bubble? Why do we even care about that? Uh-oh, so all the slides are gone. I don't know how I did that. Can you get me back in? It what? The bubble got popped. I will tell you, so I do these presentations a lot. The technology is the one thing that I worry about in every presentation. I used to be a computer programmer. Uh-oh. Happy birthday, Steve. I could talk about static in the attic, yeah. Okay, we're getting close. So while they're bringing those up, this idea of kind of breaking your social bubble and meeting people, oh, we're getting close, breaks us up into us versus them. And so when we break up into us versus them, I'm going backwards here. I'm getting close. Okay. So we break up into us versus them. Then there's these media echo chambers that kind of reinforce what we already think. So how many media sources are there? I did the count. There's a gazillion of them now. And so you can find any kind of media source that reinforces the way you see the world. So I can, if I believe that giraffes can talk, I'll go out and find some media source that proves giraffes can talk, and I'm going to go, see, I was right. And because of that, we break up into these bubbles, and we don't get a chance to experience other people in the way they live and see the world. And everybody sees the world differently. And so how divided have we become? And why do we need to build something we call community ownership? I'll come back to community ownership. Here's a study that was done. I can't read the dates, but back in the 60s, it was something like 5 and 6% of Republicans and Democrats would be disappointed if their child married someone from a different political party. By 2016, it was 60 and 63% who would be disappointed. What do you think it is today? Are we in the 80%, 90 percentile? Probably. That's how divided we've become. And again, it's happened a little bit over time. It didn't happen all at once. It's like boiling a frog. It happens slowly over time. So, how do we build social capital? How do we increase empathy? And how do we build something called community ownership? And why is community ownership important? Well, having ownership of your community and ignoring what others in the community are experiencing is sort of like saying, well, there's a hole in your end of the boat. Aren't we all in the same boat? And if we look at the other side of town and say, well, they've got a problem over there, they need to fix that problem, that's not really helping. But all it's done is that part of the community sinks, we're all going down with it. But in order for that to work, people have to really understand how things are interconnected. The Give 5 program helps people understand how these things are all connected. How do we connect those dots and understand the big picture that we are all in the same boat? The next macro trend is the importance of volunteerism. Drury University did a study. This is before the pandemic. Said, how many volunteers do we have in the community? How many do we need? How many are we short? At that time, we were 8,000 volunteers short. Before the pandemic. During the pandemic, you all know what happened to volunteerism. Dropped off a cliff. We're not even back to where we were pre-pandemic. Something happened in April of 2018 in the U.S. The labor curve inverted for the first time in the history of the country. What that meant is there are now more jobs than people to fill them. Why is that important? Well, it takes 20 years to grow a worker. So this is not something you can fix immediately. Nonprofits have to compete with for-profit organizations for talent. If there's not enough talent to go around, who wins? I was trying to hire a CFO at United Way, and 4 blocks away is Forvis Mazars. Who do you think pays more for a CFO, United Way or Forvis Mazars? We only missed it by that much. But nonprofits are going to experience more and more of this challenge of trying to hire and retain talent. And that becomes really, really important. So skilled volunteers are going to become something that nonprofits increasingly rely on. So there's 2 things really that nonprofits are going to rely on. One is volunteers and one is philanthropy. And that leads to the 5th macro trend, which is that's $30 trillion. That's the amount that's going to change hands. It's the most conservative amount I've found over the next 30 years. And so that money's going someplace. Where's that money going? And what happens if only 5% of that amount goes back into communities? That would be a game changer. You could wipe out most of the issues that Springfield and the surrounding area experience if just 5% of that wealth goes back into communities. But why is that going to happen? I'm not going to care about things I don't understand. So if I don't understand what's going on in my community, I'm certainly not going to invest money from my will or my trust back into the community. You have to find something that touches your heart and you have to be connected to. You have to have an emotional connection to these things. The other thing is, it's in our DNA, is we have an innate desire to share our knowledge with the next generation, which is great for mentorship. There is a huge demand for mentorship in our community, like most communities. So those are the 5 macro trends. And if you're as old as I am, you look at that logo and you say, Texaco Star. But it's really 5 arrows pointing into the center, and those 5 arrows all point to Give 5 right in the center. So those are the 5 macro trends. We're not designed to take a 40-year vacation. And the average age of adults continues to go up. So we're basically setting ourselves up for a 40-year vacation if we don't have anything to do when we retire. We call the program Couch Repellent. And it works. It's based on the central assumption that people are good. I got to meet Chuck. Chuck is good. People want to help the community, right? They want to get engaged. They're just waiting to be asked. This is a group out of Tulsa, I think, where we have one of the Give 5 programs. And people are just waiting to be asked to help, but they don't know where to start. There's too many nonprofits. We have 3,000 nonprofits in our community. Pick one. It's hard. How do you just pick one? So, what we find is most people during their work life are way too busy getting the kids to soccer practice and getting to the grocery store and all these other things that you have to do in your daily life to really understand what's going on in your own backyard. And again, I won't care about the things that I don't understand. So we let them do two things. We let them see behind the curtain. They get a chance to go visit nonprofits and see what's going on at that nonprofit, feel the vibe. You can tell when you walk into a nonprofit, do I feel comfortable here? Do I like what they're doing? Do I like this energy level? The other thing we let them do is kind of do a taste testing of volunteer opportunities. What would it be like to volunteer here? This is different than just going through the phone book and picking something. And I know there are no more phone books. I'm just aging myself. So here's how it works. We try and limit the classes to about 20. It's a free program. We have grants and sponsors that cover all the costs. It's a 5-day program, typically like 5 Wednesdays in a row or 5 Thursdays in a row. So it's 1 day a week. And what we try and do is physically visit 23 nonprofits. The idea here is seeing is believing. If we had 23 nonprofits come to you and make presentations, you'd be asleep in an hour. But when we put you on a bus and we take you to visit these places, it's a whole different equation. First day is different. First day, we do an orientation in the morning. The class members introduce themselves. They get a chance to kind of learn about the program, understand the why. We then just share information about our community, which is kind of the secret sauce, because you really have to understand, why do these nonprofits exist in the first place before we actually take you to one. And then by the afternoon, after we feed you lunch, we take you to 3 nonprofits. Days 2 through 5 are different. We bring in a guest speaker. It might be Dr. Granita Lathan, the superintendent of public schools. It might be Monica Horton, city council member. It might be Dr. Jonathan Groves from Drury University. We bring in these topic experts that talk about the community. And then we go visit 5 nonprofits on those days. And then we have the goosebump moment, which is graduation. And we call it the goosebump moment because we see people coming into the program. We see what the program does to them and changes them. We've had people come in who were agoraphobic, who just really wanted to stand in the back of the classroom, and I don't want to be involved in this, but my kids dropped me off and left, and I don't really want to be here. And then we have graduation, and then we have a reunion, and guess who talks more than anybody else? It was her. She stayed the longest, because she found something that she connected with. So the graduations, where really the class members stand up in front of their classmates, in front of the nonprofit CEOs, in front of the mayor, and say, here's what I've selected. The thing that surprised us, because we said this program will be a success if we get a 50% hit rate. If 50% end up volunteering, we have a 98% hit rate. And the thing that surprised us, rarely does anyone select 1. They select 2 or 3 or 4. By the 3rd day on the bus, we always hear this. I've got it narrowed to 10. Don't do 10. That's too many. So, why is it called Give 5? It's called Give 5 because we ask people to consider volunteering not 5 hours a day, not 5 hours a week, 5 hours a month. Set the bar really low. Doesn't scare anybody away. You can do 5 hours in one day, right? 5 hours a month. What we find statistically is they do more than that because they find things that touch their heart, right? And so it's this kind of the power of a shared experience going through this together. I'll bet that when you retire, you probably wouldn't pick up the phone, call 23 nonprofits and say, hey, tell me what you do and can I come over and tour? You won't do that. You will do it as a group, and we make it as fun as possible, although you can ask Chuck whether it's fun. Here's the wrap-up, the impact on the community. So we work with researchers at Penn State University and Stanford University. And they help us determine the impact on the individual and the impact on the community. And the state of Missouri is the first state to officially adopt the Give 5 program. For Springfield, Missouri, they said, okay, we want you to survey all the Give 5 programs, there's 8 of them in Missouri, and tell us what the impact is. The impact on Springfield alone is $2.1 million in the last 12 months. The impact statewide was $6.7 million over the last 12 months. So we know it works. And that's to the credit of the graduates. They're out doing things in the community. Is it still working? Well, this is our most recent class, class 29. With 20 people who graduated, they committed to 74 volunteer opportunities. They're making an impact. If you're interested, class 30 starts April 1st. No fooling. And it will, I didn't want to tell that joke, but Bob made me. So if you want to sign up, we would love to have you. What about the demand curve? What if we run out of retirees? I don't think that's going to be a problem. That's going to show that, yeah, we got plenty of retirees in our community and to come. We've been featured on PBS website and Forbes. That's how Penn State found us, was on the Forbes, when the Forbes did an article on us. This is Dr. Robert Putnam, author of Bowling Alone. He's considered the father of social capital. If you're on Harvard's campus, and who's not, you can drive on Putnam Boulevard. That tells you kind of who he is. But he gave us this quote about the program, and this kind of made our year. Again, it's a win-win-win-win. It's good for the individuals who go through the program. It's good for the community. It's great jet fuel for the nonprofits. It just works on many levels. If you're interested in either learning more about the program or even signing up for the April class, this is the website. Go to give5program.org. I thank you all for allowing me to come talk about the program. I'll stick around if anybody wants to talk about it. If you don't know somebody, if you don't feel like it's for you, you probably know somebody that might be able to benefit from the Give 5 program. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg Burris. Your passion for this is truly inspiring and certainly fits well with the passion that our Social Action Committee here tries to bring to this congregation. In a few minutes, our chalice lighting words will remind us that our individual gifts weave a patchwork of peace. And I was struck by that because I know as a congregation we do so many things, but beyond the group projects that Social Action Committee tries to get us involved in, I know that as individuals we're all involved in many other things. And so I want to create a patchwork of our individual contributions. This is a feeble attempt at starting something. I have tables over here and here, and I'm just going to ask you after service if you would stop by and just pick up a piece of the patchwork and just write the name of an organization that you contribute to. It might be time, it might be a donation, it might be forwarding their information on social media, whatever you do to promote those an organization. So Chuck, you can do a Give 5. And then I'll take those and try to put together some sort of a patchwork just to sort of see what we do as individuals and as a congregation. And if you're on Zoom this morning and you want to write an organization in the chat box, we'll capture from that and add yours to the mix, to the patchwork. Our interlude is Nocien by Eric Satie, performed by Eva. As Betts Winke tells us, we have gathered together today to learn, to recognize, and affirm the pieces of possibility, the bits of good we bring. May we encourage rather than control, love rather than possess, enable rather than envy, allowing our individual gifts to weave a patchwork of peace. Each of us is indispensable if we are to minister to a broken and wounded world. Together, in our gathered diversity, we form the whole. So be it. Our final song today is For All That Is Our Life. It's number 128 in the green hymnal, or the gray hymnal. You may sit or stand to sing, and you may remain standing after the song for our chalice extinguishing and unison sending words. We will now extinguish our communal and personal chalices and close with our unison sending words. Our service here is ending. Our service to the world begins anew.